Alright then, welcome everyone to round 3 of Tier 2 RPL around the streets of Saudi Arabia. I don't know the results from last week because they have not been uploaded by EXO, so yeah. I believe it was Lennon who won the last race at Japan, so that makes it 2 wins in 2 races for Ferrari. Which is a much better start to the season for them. I think that's the same amount of wins they got total last season. Yet to see a McLaren on the top step of the podium. As yeah, we have our lineup for tonight. We have Cryptic in the McLaren alongside Night Owl. Cryptic replacing Lucas Rasmussen, who is not here. You've got Mintoki, the only Mercedes driver this week, sorry, which is interesting that Mercedes couldn't fill that seat, but they've got 2 Alpine and Williams drivers, including Jack MS, who had a decent race, I thought, pace-wise last time out in Japan, but he's in the Alpine. 2 Red Bulls, Veloce, Ayub and Wilsonator, and then Josh 43 and Lennon in the Ferrari. Pretty normal lineup for the rest of the cars. I don't recognise Valentino. Not familiar with his game, but we'll see how he goes. As some of the cars just starting to come out for their laps. Let's see, who have we got first? One of the Haas's. SV, who's managed to invalidate his lap already. Good start to qualifying there on his outlap. It'll be interesting to see what sort of times we see in this qualifying session. We had Tier 1 here just the weekend gone. I'll say a slightly different session, being full qualifying in Tier 1 rather than short quality like we have here. See what the Tier 1 qualifying times were. It was a 26.0 was pole position for TRT Andrea in Tier 1. As SV comes to start a lap. See if he can keep it valid. As through turn 1, you like to try and cut the apex at turn 2. Take as much curb as you can get away with without bottoming out. It's turn 4, this is where Cookie DNF'd, causing a safety car in Tier 1. Quite a tricky corner in the race. Sector 1 almost flat in this game. Maybe flat if you're running high downforce and you're in one of the top cars. Let's see what his telemetry is looking like as well. Oh, and he's just wall riding through turn 8, which is an interesting strategy. He's still going with his lap despite hitting the wall twice now on his lap. This is what we expect from SV. I would expect nothing less than a destroyed car at the end of qualifying in the race. Just about keeps going within the white lines through the final chicane. He's got no battery left for this final sector though. This comes up to the final corner. Get some power nice and early. And he's going to bring the car up to the line. Set the benchmark at a 27.9. Not a bad lap time, if I had to guess, for the Haas. Only a couple of attempts off what Maxwell did in Q3 in Tier 1. Ahead of AJ by half a tenth. There's a smattering of other cars coming up to start and finish their laps. Resilience goes 7 tenths off in the Sauber. The other Sauber just going across the line. We've got Ferrari, is that starting a lap? Yeah, just starting a lap. Jack Miles just starting a lap. And the other Ferrari also starting a lap, I believe. Oh no, he's invalidated that. That was Josh. And we've got Wally as well, also invalidated his lap. This is going to be the story of qualifying, I fear, a lot of invalidations. It's quite a tricky track, especially in qualifying, to stay within the lines, but Dylan's managed that. But goes P5, almost a second off SV in the Haas. And that Aston Martin is not a slow car around here. We saw in qualifying in Tier 1 how good that Aston Martin can be. Matty's aborted his lap. So Red Night Owl goes fastest with a 27.523. I think that's a pretty decent lap time for a banker. Only 4 tenths ahead of the Haas, so you'll be looking for a bigger gap to the Haas. I expect him to be in 26s by the end of the session as Mintoki goes fastest. As SV is out of fuel. The Haas getting out of the way of Veloce. He's just coming up to the line himself. Can he challenge Mintoki or Night Owl's times? He's out of battery. Only 5th. Nearly a second off Mintoki. And again, that Red Bull is also not a bad car on this particular circuit. It's rear instability, not the biggest issue around here. And so we have TSR Cryptic there just starting a lap. We'll run on board with him as Lennon goes fastest with a 26.8. First driver into the 26s. Cryptic gets as close to the wall as he dare on the exit of turn 2 there. Okay. Well, I did say you can get close to the wall. Like, yeah, good job, Cryptic. Good job. Start of game cycle, he was in the Tier 1 McLaren, ladies and gentlemen. I'd be surprised if he's in Tier 2 at the end of this rate. But yeah, Matty into the pits there. Is there anyone on a lap here? Well, he's not. No. Night Owl going for 2 runs here on 1 set of tyres? I know some drivers like Mintoki normally do that. I'm personally not a fan of the 2 runs as he nearly does exactly what his teammate did there, wiping his front wheel. But just about gets away with it. Okay, we've got Jack MS here on a lap, just finishing sector 1. Didn't look particularly hooked up through the end of sector 1, but apparently purple. I'm not sure how much I trust that. As he comes now through sector 2. So what his sector times are like here. 1 minute 0.9. Supposedly purple in 2 sectors here. I'll wait. I don't believe it for now, but we'll see what it's like at the end of this lap here. Still got some battery left, better than SV at this point on the track. We're on a board for a lap with him. Oh, I had to turn him twice there at the last corner. That's not ideal. Let's see what it does up to the line. Okay, it's not. Yeah, I don't think there was purple sectors. But 28.0, not a bad lap at all in that Alpine. As we have SV going for another lap here. He's been in a very good first lap despite hitting every wall he could find. Slides the car through turn 1. Slightly wide at turn 2. He's on the power nice and early here. Aston Martin staying, also the Williams staying out of his way nicely. He's out the wall there as the Haas is also out the way, his teammate. So does he keep it pinned? Shift down and a lift. And then almost bottoms out on the curb there. But so far, so good. He's up on his first lap. Let's see if he hits the wall here again. No, he keeps it out the wall this time. This should yield him some good time gain. Double shift down through there is not ideal, and he is still slapping the wall through there. Good thing we're not on realistic damage. So he flicks it through the final chicane. But yeah, let's say he looked wide on entry and that's invalidated his lap. which is unfortunate for him, as it was looking like an improvement. Let's see. The other Haas would be just starting a lap, yeah. Wilsonator's not on a lap, unfortunately. What about his teammate? An outlap as well. Lots of cars just doing their outlaps here. So that'll be AJ here starting his lap. Starting his lap, a lot of battery already used. Some congestion going on up here as everyone gets out of the way. Really getting out of the way. So AJ swings the car through the first sector here. So he looked much more confident through there than SV looked. And it's rewarded him with quite a chunk of time gain there, nearly 2 tenths up. This has put him right behind Wilson as things stand. Can he find any more time? Again, double shift down. A little slide on the apex curve there. Keeps it together though. Let's see, did he gain any more time through there, or did that little slide cost him some time in sector 2? Now he's gained more time. Ooh, just about keeps within track limits. As he comes to finish the lap. Oh, a little bit wide of the apex through the final corner. But this time could put him up as high as P5. No, he lost some time. Also didn't gain as much time as I thought he was up by in that final sector. So he stays behind Wilson for now. As Veloce doesn't improve on his run, as we see Lennon on provisional pole, starting his second flying lap. Winner last time out, of course. I'm not sure if he's championship leader or not, because someone has not put out the standings yet for the Tier 2. Exo. So he's down by nearly a tenth in sector 1. He's got a lot of battery still to play with. Plenty of time he can find here. Ooh, just about keeps out the wall there. Have a look, how's his lap shaping up here? We'll have a better idea when he hits the beam here. Still down. Not looking like an improvement for Lennon on this lap, but he's still within the realms of possibility to find some more time. As Wilson's just starting a lap in front of him. Oh, not the... We saw similar things happening in Tier 1 with cars starting their laps, getting a little bit in the way in the final corner. It was going to give Lennon a lovely slipstream down to the line. And Lennon almost finds the time to improve. Gained nearly a tenth and a half in that final sector. As might as well go on board with Wilson here. In the Red Bull. Red Bull currently P6 and P10 behind JTK in the Williams. JTK probably the strongest midfield driver on the grid. Looking at the cars drivers are in. Oh, it's Wilson. He's gonna have to abandon that lap, I think. Yeah, he's backed out. He's charging his battery. He'll probably go again if he's got the fuel. Track miles is invalidated. Here's the lap. What's this with? Night Owl, who finds a big chunk of time. And then invalidate straight away. I believe he found... Yeah, nearly half a second on that lap. Which only gains him one position, but gets him much closer to like some Mintoki and Lennon. He's pushing on his lead lap here. Josh 4:53 now starts his lap. This was the driver I'd probably tipped to win the championship this season. He looked very strong at the end of Tier 2's last season, picking up a win in the final race in Abu Dhabi. I believe his second win in Tier 2. I believe he picked up a win last game cycle, actually in the final race of the game cycle in Tier 2 at this very track. So he's got history around here. See if he can repeat it. Everyone else in the pit lane. So this will be Josh's last lap. Oh, and he had to overly slow there, and he's backed out of his lap here. I can see why he just looked a little bit, I don't know, he got a bit wide maybe and had to overly slow the car to get through the chicane there, but he's hopefully got enough fuel to go again. Otherwise I don't think he has enough time to pit for new tyres. What do you think? Roddy's invalidated his lap as well. The two V cars on their out laps. A little bit quiet here just as everyone does their final out laps. I hope I'm loud enough that you can hear me when I'm on board with the cars. I know the game sound can be quite loud. Actually, I'll probably turn it down a little bit just in case. Josh go for another flying lap. He's got a lot of traffic on his lap. He's not chosen the best time to go, and he's hit the wall, and this lap's probably going to have to go in the bin as well. Yeah, 3 tenths down. Nearly 4 tenths, well, sorry, nearly 4 tenths down in the first sector, so I don't see Josh finding any time on this lap, unfortunately. So I think it's going to be Rolly first to start their final runs now that Josh is out of the running. It's Rolly. Rolls the car through turns 1 and turns 2. Looked fine, maybe left a little bit of time on the table in turn 2. Stays away from the wall at turn 4. Leaves the room that Cryptic did not. Gotta leave room for God. The Alpine not a particularly strong car on this track, but he's nearly 3 tenths up. I mean, he's got to find nearly 6 tenths before he can improve a position. But he's finding time here. Let's jump on board with Lennon as he heads his way into turn 1, through 2 here. Through the kink here at 3. On to turn 4. Let's see if he can avoid the wall as well and go on his merry way. Yep. Yeah, provisional pole sitter at the moment. Being chased by Mintoki. Night Owl's made it out for another run as he just kisses the wall there on exit turn 2. Lennon finding no time in sector 1. And Toki finding the narrowest of margins, which he doesn't need a lot. Night Owl's a little bit further back on the track. Oh, there's a Red Bull there going through. Is that Wilson? I missed where his sector split was. As Night Owl comes through and he's 2 tenths down, so Night Owl... Oh, and Lennon's validated, okay. So this puts Mintoki onto the car to watch. See if she can still a pole position in that Mercedes. She's... oh, okay. No one seemingly wanting to improve their times so far. See if Night Owl can find any of that time that he lost in sector 1. No. Okay. No one seemingly looking for improvements. So out for Lotche. He is finding time. 2 tenths up. So Wilson, that is. So he gets a distant toe off that Williams in front. And he jumps to P5, so a good improvement there by Wilson. Gets up to about where that Rebel should be. Night Owl's the only one left across the line, but he's way down on his time. Didn't catch what happened on any of those top three's last runs, but no one finding any time. Pretty weird end to qualifying there. Out of the top 5, only one driver found any improvement, that being Wilson. JTK P6 in the Williams, Jack MS P7 in the Alpine. 2 drivers that could have been in the Mercedes, but no. Instead, they're in the Williams and the Alpine. AJ P8. This is very close, by the way. Look at this. The top 4 are pretty clear on pace and qualifying, at least. P5 down to P8, P9 looked extremely close, as we see here. 0.4, 0.4, 0.5, 0.5. So that's the 10th separating P5 to P8 there. SV did a really good first lap and then just didn't seem to push on at all. Still good, P10 and a half. Jack Miles, former Tier 1 champion, only 2 seasons ago, down in P11 in the V-Carb. Did it in P12 in that Aston Martin. Would like to have seen the Astons a bit higher up, but P12 is fine. And the 2 kicks, sorry I didn't catch the rest. Obviously Critic starting last in that McLaren after another poor qualifying. Hitting the wall at turn 4 on his first run. Had to ask, is he pushing too hard? Does he really need to be pushing that hard at his first run in short qualifying in the McLaren? Probably not. I mean, I can't really say much. I've done the same thing in that exact car. Crashing on my first lap. Puts me on the back foot for the whole weekend though. As we get ready for a start of the Saudi Arabian GP. I think most people will probably go medium hard. I think this is a one-stop race. I think tier 1 was looking like a one-stop before the safety car caused by Cookie. In the last 10 laps, caused basically everyone to pit for new tyres. Some people going for hards, some people going for softs, some people going for mediums. Be interesting to see what people do here. I imagine the top 5 will probably start on mediums, looking to get a good launch, maybe break DRS on this track. Quite a powerful DRS delta around here. As all the drivers wait for the ready up signal from the host. Let's have a look. So we've got, looks like SV and Jack looking to start on the hards at this moment. Valentino there just switching them on the kick. I feel like if I'm Cryptic here, I probably want to start on the hards. It's going to be hard to make progress early on in the race. Go for the overcut. Gives you those fresh tyres at the end of the race. Maybe you can overcut some people. You are in the McLaren after all. I'm not surprised to see basically no one inside the top 8 going for those hards, at least at the moment. Lennon looking to continue his good start to the season on pole here today, as the lights go out here and we've got no audio whatsoever. As Lennon gets off the line, Mintoki's already lost the start, lost the lead on P2. Night Owl's up into P2. Mintoki go around the outside trying to hold the position from Josh. And she does so. Some ghosting in the background. Side by side between J2K and Jack MS. Oh, slide for J2K as he has to give up the position. Now fighting behind. Oh, and that's also to off. Oh, there's plenty of cars slide off. And how are these rejoins looking? It's okay, so that's SV there, dropping tons of positions. It's Cryptic looks to make progress on those hards, like I suggested. It's very congested here. So side by side into the chicane. This is not normally an overtaking place, and it hasn't really worked out for Dylan there, as that's allowed Cryptic to come straight through. Dylan went 5 now, academy teammates and all that. Lennon holding the lead out front. It's looking close for P4. Josh on the back of Mintoki. Gap's starting to open up now as they go through that high-speed chicane. Tends to open up gaps. Cryptic had a decent start here, off the line. Up 3 positions on those hards. So he has a little look down the inside, and that's a big look to the inside from Rolly on Dylan, who's struggling early on in this race. As we'll go back to the front, where Night Owl's having just a little look, but he's not close enough to go for a move there. Top 4 already broken DRS to Jack MS here, after he had that fight with AMS JTK, who has come out much the worse for it now. Sliding around back here in P9 after a rough start. Not sure which Red Bull it was that went off on the curb at turn 6, but they managed to survive it relatively okay actually. AJ up 2 positions, I think that is, as we'll have a look at the different changes here. As everyone starts to settle in now, get their bearing, feel with their paces, where are they faster, where are they slower than the cars around them. Yeah, Mitoki looked had a poor start, not her strongest suit race starts. She often gets involved in unfortunate incidents on lap 1, and she's survived that at least on this occasion. As she goes now after Night Owl. Jack MS up 2 positions, AJ up 2 positions. Those midfield cars, both of them ahead of the Red Bulls. Wilson it was who went off on the curb, down 2 for Lottery up 1. JTK down 3 positions, joint furthest faller in the grid after that little tangle we had with Jack MS that we just caught tail of. And so side by side, SV and Valentino, I think SV making the move around the outside there. As it's very close for the lead here. Night Owl goes up the inside of Lennon. It's now just a case of, can he pull away? Does he have the battery? Does he have the battery? He has some battery. Lennon has much more though, so I don't see Night Owl pulling that gap unless he really does have a pace advantage. We'll look through the rest of the field here. Matt on the back of Rolly. Everyone so far seems to have avoided damage. As Night Owl sets the fastest sector 1 as he attempts to build that gap. He probably needs around 6-7 tenths. Oh, I just said 6-7. Anyway, moving on. Through here. But this is where he needs the gap to be about 7 tenths if he hopes to maintain the lead. As we've got a massive train now forming behind Jack MS. As we have a yellow flag, and that's one of the Salvers around. Wonder if he was helped around there. Hard to tell. He's still got a front wing at least, so... And there's big battling going on there as Josh sends one up the inside of Mintoki. And he's ahead now, but Mintoki... Does she have the battery? She does have the battery advantage. She tucks into the slipstream as there's also a battle going on for P1. Lennon goes to the outside. Night Owl defends that. It's Josh and Mintoki. Mintoki slides into Josh by the looks of things and then goes for the cutback. And this is going to lose DRS. This fighting here between Mintoki and Josh. Unless Josh now a bit more clean air than Lennon can put a good sector 1 together. Night Owl holds the lead, but yeah, interesting battling going at the front here. Further back, you have Jack MS leading this train of about 10 cars. Goes all the way back to Cryptic in the McLaren. That hasn't made as much progress after that at lap 1. Chaos. And then there's a whole other train here behind Rolly. Already nearly 4 seconds of the main train. You'd expect to see these Red Bulls, Cryptic, maybe JTK all start making their way back through as the tyre wear starts to compound. So, at the front, Josh has managed to stay within DRS range of Lennon, crucially, after the pass he made on Mintoki in the final corner. Lennon getting very close here to the back of Night Owl. And looking much faster on the entry for the final corner, but not getting the exit he would have wanted. Let's see, he's blending battery here. He's probably going to try and... No, he's going to hold back. He's not going to go for the move on this occasion. Further back, it's looking clean for the most part. Although that's a lovely move from AJ if he can pull it off. No, just got a little bit loose on the exit. Going for the up and under. Giacomes recharging his battery there. AJ almost into the back of him. Yeah, it's really getting congested here in this midfield battle. And Cryptic's lost DRS to everyone in front in the McLaren on those hard tyres. The cars in front are on hard tyres, so that's no excuse either. Is at the front, the gaps are starting to open up. I think Mintoki's the closest of these front four. They're now nearly 3 seconds ahead of Giacomes. They've really started to clear off here. Red Bull's having another one of those tier 2 Red Bull races where they just don't seem to have the pace of the McLarens or the Ferraris around here. Red Bull in tier 1 getting a double podium finish with the rather large help of that late safety car and penalties for other drivers. But that car does have pace around here. Andrea showed that with pole and the win last time in tier 1. So here we go. Lennon again. Surely he's going to go for the move this time. Yeah, Night Owl. I was going to say powers to stop it, but he sends it deep on the brakes. Tries to hold it around the outside. And one of them's going to have to back out here. They can't go too wide through turn 4, and the Night Owl thinks wiser of it. And cedes the place to Lennon, who has the battery advantage though. And further back it needs to be staying mostly the same. I think Veloce has got possible Wilson at some point. This Veloce looks super slow there through the latter half of Sector 1. Also having to lift off to avoid running to the back of his teammate, even with the dirty air. And Cryptic has come right back into DRS here. It's touching the back of SV. This is... At the current gaps that we're seeing, this is just a recipe for disasters and safety cars. It's interesting, we saw the pack in... Again, the tier 1 race. I'm going to keep mentioning it because that's our exclusive experience around this track, but the gaps really opened up, whereas here, on lap 6, much more condensed. AJ now leading this train after getting past Giacomes. Giacomes coming back and just going straight past. And then Veloce trying to follow him through on those hard tyres. As at the front. Here we go again. Round 4. There's Night Owl easily through on the inside. As we come back here, Giacomes aggressively coming to defend the inside here. See if AJ forced right onto the curb. So we're going to lose out to Veloce there on the exit. Yep. Veloce giving it a very early lift there. That's... He has got the fuel light on. I wonder if he's trying to feel safe. As... Again, this pack is so condensed. Everyone within 2-3 tenths of each other through here. As Valentino's the first driver into the penalty book this race, and expect to see many more of those penalties. As Dylan follows him with a 3-second penalty. So you can really see the gap opening up at the front there as we've had another spin. Who's that? I think it was Valentino, because he was on the back of Cryptic. He's now fallen very far off. Yeah, he's missing his front end wing end plate there. Now, what battle do we watch here? We've got this melee for P5, and then we've got the leaders. I think Mintoki probably at this moment in time has the most pace of all these leaders, but she's unfortunately stuck in a bit of a DRS train and needs to hope for some chaos ahead. As into the final corner, we go with this little group of cars. No one going for any moves. So back to the front. Lennon a little bit further back than he has been. Looking like he might have to defend here from his teammate. But no, they're all well behaved. This looks a little less well behaved. Lots of movement on the straights going on in this group. Everyone well behaved through the first sector. We've got two very distinct trains now formed. Nearly, well, over 5 seconds now between the top four, the rest of the race, and then everyone else at the back of the race whose race has not gone their way so far. We'll go to look at tyres for a bit, because we're getting to the point now where the hards should start to have more pace than the mediums. I think we'll start to see the likes of Jack Miles and Cryptic make their way forward. We had another yellow flag for Valentino, who stayed out on those without the end plate. On a track like this, it doesn't seem the wisest move. As battle for the lead continues, Lennon looking the best on battery. Looking like he might even make the move before the final corner. But who knows, DRS games that have been played here before. Mintoki looking extremely close to the back of Josh here, but I don't know if she'll be able to make the move, whereas Lennon with DRS, no move available, and the front four continue to stay in tandem as like Giacometti has started to open up a bit more of a gap here to the cars behind. The Cryptic still stuck off the tail of this train, and yeah, just doesn't look very comfortable in that car there. You see how wide he got on the exit. As you see, a move for Rolly up the inside of Dylan. Dylan will try and hang it back around the outside, and that's one way to defend your place. Oh, and this is going to be interesting. Oh. Remember, Valentino here has half a front wing, and he's trying to fight through the first sector. How is he managing to look like the faster car? I don't know. Rolly looking very uncomfortable. That looks like the end of that battle. As Giacometti on this lap has closed the gap to the leaders by about half a second. I think it was 5.3, it's now down to 4.8. Probably open up again as he lacks the DRS he needs to really catch. Was AJ also looking like he's on the verge of dropping out of DRS here? 0.8 the gap, 0.9 the gap. And if he does lose DRS, I think he'll probably be a sitting duck to JTK and Wilson. As again, the leaders have all decided to settle down here. Oh, so we do see a lot of movement going on. What has happened here? Oh, Wilson is just bit. Okay. That's makes some more sense than chaos in the final corner. Got a lot of cars in. Oh, Valentino sped in the pit lane. Yeah, I think the leaders will probably pit this lap. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 3 of them pit. Problem with the Ferraris is one of them is going to have to go longer than the other one. Josh, unfortunately, the latter of the Ferraris will be either double stacking. I have to go another lap. Probably go another lap. Doesn't want to lose a time in a double stack. On this game, it's easily 5-6 seconds you can lose. As AJ here has firmly lost DRS on this lap. I'd expect to see JTK coming through. As we have a yellow. Sector 1 for resilience. On newish tyres. And he's crawling around without a front wing end plate, so he's had a little moment somewhere. Oh, it's Lennon and Josh are... Thought Josh was going up the inside of Lennon there, trying to steal the preferential pit stop. But yeah, it's exactly what I thought. So Josh has to go the extra lap now. Josh really wants a safety car this lap. Although I think he's probably going to fall out of the lead train with the power of the understop in this, of the undercut on this game. Sorry, not understop. Because we do have a yellow. I think that's again for resilience. Yes, it was. As a lot of the second crew has stayed out here. Veloce also on those hards has to stay out for a bit longer. JTK's gone a lap longer. I'm not sure that was the wisest decision. Jack Miles on the hards, SC on the hards, Cryptic on the hards will stay out. Okay, so Night Owl's come out and almost broken DRS here to Lennon on pit exit. You see the gaps have really expanded. And there we go, the gap's broken. Lennon has more battery. Can he get back into DRS range? Yeah, I think this is where we'll see what the true pace of these drivers is, now given the chance to stretch their legs. Nightowl, broken DRS in that straight, but he's almost out of battery, so I don't know if he's going to be able to maintain that gap. No, he's not. So, looks like the leaders are coming back together as Lennon sets the fastest middle sector of the race, as Resilience continuing to have issues. Yeah, okay. So, Lennon is firmly back in DRS now with Nightowl as Josh pits. And Mintoki has lost DRS here. Just doesn't have the battery that the other two had on that outlap, as we'll see where Josh comes out. Yeah, look how far back he is. All three of them have already gone way past. So he exits the pits behind Mintoki, so he's lost that position as well as lost DRS to the lead battle. Let's see what he can do. He's got one lap fresh tyres, not sure how much that's going to help. Yeah, look how much Jack MS has caught them by. 2.4 seconds the gap to Josh. It was 5 seconds before the pit stops. Wilson's lost DRS to Jack MS as well. So yeah, all those trains that we had before the pit stops have for the most part disappeared, apart from, well yeah, basically all disappeared. Most cars now outside of a second. As Nightowl does seem to have better pace at this point in the race. Saw that in the opening stint, where after the first 5 laps of battling, he was able to cement himself in that lead, keep Lennon in the Ferrari at bay. They are going to come to some lap traffic here, and there's a chance here that Cryptic can help his teammate out. Oh, sorry. As Mintoki has been overtaken by Josh on that lap. I imagine we'll see Josh and Mintoki like DRS swapping to try and catch back up to Lennon and Nightowl. As yeah, Nightowl's caught the traffic. SV, obviously academy teammate of Lennon, won't give Nightowl a nice time. SV famously will battle anyone, just no matter the sense in it. So here we go. Nightowl's got the run. Yeah, the SV squeezes into the inside, gives him room. Nightowl should be able to sneak around the inside. Ooh. SV gives him just about a car's width. Oh, Nightowl taps the inside wall there. But Nightowl is through, and Lennon is not, crucially. This has allowed Josh to catch right back into the DRS instantly. So this train really working out well for Josh, as Lennon just shows the extra grip he's got. As Nightowl goes through his teammate, yeah, Critic won't fight that, I don't believe, and then Critic needs to help his teammate now get a gap. Let's see. We have another yellow flag in the last set. Oh yeah, no. Not even a contest. I think Critic did his best to defend that, but just didn't have the grip, the tyres, the battery he needed. As Critic and Josh have followed him through on SV. As we see Critic into the pits on lap 14. One of the earliest drivers to pit off those hards. So he's going to get the undercut on the other hard drivers. See if he can make the tyres last 11 laps, shall we? Is at the front now. Nightowl has cleared Jack Miles, and crucially Lennon is stuck behind him in sector 1. This could be the race made for Nightowl here. Being the first car to meet the traffic generally gives you the advantage. But yeah, look at this, Josh right on the back of his teammate here. How hard does Jack Miles fight it? Let's have a look. Josh looking for the move on the outside, and yeah, the grip is insane. The difference here. Mintoki looking now to make her way through on Jack as she hits the wall. She should get Jack here. She needs to get Jack here, otherwise DRS will be lost to the cars ahead. And yeah, she's gonna make that move. Crucially staying within DRS of those cars and head, or just about. Probably will be. Yeah, Josh burning everything he has to try and break that DRS. As Night Owl has now done it, he's broken DRS. He has more battery. If Night Owl has the pace, which he should in that car, he should win this race now. Of course, safety cars are always a possibility. Tyre wear, management, all those things. As Resilience still causing yellow flags. I don't know. He's got less of a front wing now. As we see SV, Jack Mile, Veloci, all of them in the pits, coming off their hards. Where do they come out in relation to Cryptic is important. Cryptic was also behind all of these drivers before, apart from SV. And he's jumped Jack Miles. Interesting. Okay, so that was a good call for track position by Cryptic. Gets him into the points, which is less than the minimum needed in that car, really, but let's see if he can keep moving forwards. Jack Mess had a good race. I haven't mentioned him in a couple of laps, but P5 ahead of Wilson. Great performance. Driver who was in the McLaren last race. And Josh, who has overtaken Lennon, has now rapidly closed that gap to Night Owl. I think ERS did play its part in that. I did see that Josh had a lot more ERS than his teammate, and this battle for the lead is not over. Night Owl spending a lap regenerating his battery, probably not the wisest decision when he's allowed DRS to be gained. And these top four are back together. It almost felt like his Resilience looks like he's DNF'd in the pit lane. He was having a nightmare of a race, something wrong with his setup or wheel or something by the looks of things. As yeah, these trains which we had formed in the first stint have now reformed. As we see a yellow flag, so Resilience's car might cause issues with drivers getting illegal overtakes as AJ makes his way past Wilsonator on one lap fresher tyres. There's some drivers here really showing incredible pace in these midfield cars. Now JTK all over the back of Wilson. Expect to see Veloci arrive on the scene as well on those fresh mediums. There's at the front, Josh. Now, the one doing the chasing on Night Owl. It's really hard to tell which of these four has the best pace. I don't think it's Lennon, despite the qualifying pace at this stage. Looks like Josh is probably looking the fastest, although Night Owl has a ton of battery to play with. Josh is going to go for the lead here. Night Owl not defending the inside, but he does hang it around what becomes the inside for turn 2, I guess. Or he had a slide on exit, and that will allow Josh through into the lead for the first time while on the same strategy. Obviously he led for a lap when all these guys pitted and he didn't. So Josh, even with having to go a lap longer because of the double stack, has managed to come out very well from that. Now we can see what his true pace is like. Again, as I said at the start of the race, as we're waiting for the lights to go out, he's won here before in Tier 2. He knows how to do it. Oh, there's Night Owl gets a big whack at the wall there. Don't need too many more of those. So yeah, JTK's cleared Wilson. Just doesn't seem to have the pace at the moment. He's on 7 lap tyres, one of the first drivers to put off those mediums onto the hards, and his teammate is now turned a 2-second gap, 2.5-second gap into half a second gap. As JTK here right on the back of AJ. As Niall retakes the lead up at the front. Just lots of switching. DRS sharing going on. We see that as... Ooh. The Red Bulls go toe to toe. Wilson holding up his teammate. I'm not sure this is in the best interest of the Red Bull Academy. But he holds on for another lap. As Cryptic is not catching this train at the rate of which Veloce has. Rather disappointingly. In fact, he's been caught by Jack Miles. So I'm not sure if points are on the table for him, unfortunately. So back to the front as yep, Josh is looking like he's going to retake the lead. With how close he is. Oof. So he got a bit squirrely on the curve. And this should be a relatively slam dunk move, I'd imagine. I mean, Natal's trying to defend it, but I think the power of DRS is too powerful. No, Night Out, or is he able to defend? Yes, just about. As Veloce does get Wilson this time into turn 1. And Jack, as I said, right on the back of Cryptic with way more battery than SV, who was running around in that group fighting for a decent points finish here, has really dropped away. As Rolly and Dylan go at it again in a mighty battle for P13. And Rolly's just accelerated away from Dylan in the middle sector there. As we go back to the lead battle again. Let's see. I would be surprised if when we get into the final 5 laps this gets a little bit more hands off, gloves off. Hands off, what am I saying? Yeah, here goes Josh again, looking to the inside. Night Owl defended it last time and again defends it. Who has the traction on the exit? I mean, Josh has the inside here, which is favourable. Night Owl pulls ahead though. Braver on the brakes and goes right around the outside at turn 4. Whew. I mean, Josh is using very little battery to do this, so all these drivers in fact have well over 50% battery. As JTK has made his way past Jack MS now into the lead of the P5 train. This could go either way. I don't think Veloce's tyres are going to make it to the end. Oh, well, at 3 seconds it's going to hurt him more than his tyres will, I think. As Wilson just about hanging on to DRS at the moment. The back of this train. Jack Miles still sat behind Cryptic. It's actually the gap's opened up a little bit on this lap. Still in the DRS though. So it's always changing as Roddy continues to hold P13 ahead of Dylan. As go back to the lead battle. Montoki looking very close to the back of Lennon here. But again, DRS makes it almost possible for her to make the move, and well, Josh is basically alongside before they even got on the straight. Again, this should be slam dunk for Josh. But Night Owl is doing his absolute best. But that's actually allowed Lennon to stick a nose up the inside into turn 2. That poor exit from the final corner really hurting Night Owl here. It's further back, everything's fine, so we go back to this battle for the lead. It's all very close. There's SV's pit. And Josh has left the session! Oh no. Do I have him added, is the question. Do I have Josh433 added? No, I do not. So, heartbreak for Josh433 from the lead of the race. At least he's back in already. He's not lost too much time. Let's hope he can get back time through to DRS. But from the lead of the race to a disconnect. So unfortunate. Come on, go back in the car. Keep DRS. Anyway, at the lead, Lennon finds himself now back in P2. What can he do? Josh still isn't back in control of the car. Yeah, Lennon's quite a ways back. Josh still not back. Okay, nothing there. Back here, got Giacomet's looking like he's shaping for a move. He has no battery left. They can't quite make the move. AJ unable to defend from Veloce. No, he is able to defend. Get his elbows out racing here. Ooh. I think Veloce on the inside here should make the move. Yeah, with that 3-second time penalty, it's not going to matter though. In fact, they've lost DRS now to Giacomet and JTK. And Josh is now back in the race, having lost DRS. Let's hope he can get back in and fight for this win. Oh, a little side won't help him, won't help his case. But it looks like he's just out of DRS with this next straight. Come on. It's further down the grid. Dylan and Rolly continue their battle. I mean, Dylan and the Aston Martin are just struggling with those. Well, the lack of straight line speed. Jack Miles still sitting behind Cryptic as well. Cryptic has taken some time out of the cars ahead in the last couple of laps. Nowhere near the rate he needs to with only 3 laps left. At the front. It's looking ever closer between these guys. Oh, Mintoki has a huge slide on the exit. Like they're under pressure. There's Lennon. Is he close enough? No, no one close enough on this occasion to go for the move. JTK doing enough to defend at the moment. Wilson looks to be having a little bit of a resurgence of pace at the moment. As Cryptic continues to lead. Dylan and Rolly side by side as they come in towards the last corner. Dylan needs to make sure he gets the DRS. God, his exit there looked horrible. But he's ahead. He did not get DRS though. There's SV on those new mediums, that's the fast lap of the race. Don't get a point for that anymore, I'm afraid. Big slide from SV there in the background on those fresh mediums. He should come through this pack relatively easily though. It's battle for the lead, which is the most interesting, at least for me. I feel any of these 4 drivers could win. I think there's anything to separate them for pace. Well, 3 out of the 4 of them have led this race at some point. Mintoki the only one not to lead the race. As yeah, SV has already passed both of those. Oh, sorry, it's already passed Dylan. It'll be passed really imminently, I imagine. Just like these Ferraris, Lennon and Josh, just don't seem to quite have the straight line speed of the McLaren around here. As Josh is all over the back and sends one on Mintoki, who leaves the car's width on the inside. Oh, but then Josh turns into her there on the turn 2. No harm, no foul there though. Everything stays status quo. Giacomet has now dropped out of DRS of JTK. Veloce himself having dropped out of DRS like 2 seconds now. Well, the gap 2 seconds, the second out of DRS. And it's looking like it's going to be a great result for both JTK and Giacomet, finishing ahead of both Red Bulls and 1 McLaren. As the Rolly and Dylan battle continues. Dylan this time with DRS, but he can't make the move. And he's about an acre away from the apex curb there at turn 2. As the understeers in a dirty air. A battle here for last place between Valentino and Matty. Valentino obviously picked up that front wing damage very early on in the race with a spin. And been kind of out of it ever since, but he's going to go for a move on the way to turn 4. How has Matty let that happen? Triple the DRS at least. ERS, sorry. As they're battling again in the final corner, Mintoki getting squirrely again on the exit. She's lost the place to Josh. Sorry for missing that in the final corner, but she's going to look to the outside. Nothing going there. Okay, we're on to the final lap now. Cryptic and Jack Miles having a tussle. Jack Miles going for a move in the final corner. It doesn't quite pay off. It's not going to get the exit he needs there. Right, to the lead battle. That was the final time they went through turn 1. So there's one more overtaking opportunity in the final corner here. Night Owl's 100% battery. He should be good. Lennon 100%. Josh only 50. Mintoki only 50. How close does Lennon get on this lap? He needs to be right on the bumper, right in the slipstream on this final lap. If he's to prevent Night Owl winning, he's close. He's close. Does he nail this exit? Oh, I was cautious on entry, but he's nailed the exit. Way better than Night Owl. And Josh is going to have a go here. Goes to the outside. He's ahead. Night Owl doesn't send it back up the inside on the brakes. And it looks like it's going to be Lennon to win. Oh my god! As Night Owl hits the wall! Out of the last corner trying to make the move. As the top 4 come across the line. You then got JTKP5, Jack SP6, we got yellow flags. As Critic and Jack Miles. The last battle on track, really. Jack Miles not able to get Critic though. He will get the final point, and then SV finish P12. The only driver to do a 2-stop, I think. Or the only driver not forced into a 2-stop, I should say. Bring home P12, 24 seconds off the next car. Wow, so Lennon then, from pole, wins the race. That does not tell the whole story. Had to fight for that. Night Owl probably bottled the win. Maybe not bottled, maybe that's harsh, but definitely was in the driver's seat on that final lap. 100% ERS, and he doesn't win. Had that massive moment on the exit of the last corner. And I thought he was heading into the wall without a wheel. But he holds P2. P3, Josh 433 after a disconnect when he was leading the race, don't forget. I think that's what could have been for him. Still, solid points. Mintoki P4 in the Mercedes. On this track, the Mercedes is not the best. It's not the worst, obviously, but yeah, and then here we go, driver of the day. The game gives it to Cryptic. I absolutely do not give driver of the day to Cryptic. I'll say who mine is in a minute. Let's quickly grab the race director. So, let's have a look at the switching order. So, with penalties applied for track lengths and things, you end up with Lennon as our race winner. Night Owl P2. Josh P3 after a disconnect. Pretty good result for him. With that disconnect included. Mintoki P4, JTK P5, especially after that first lap tussle we had with Jack MS. We definitely came out the worst of the two. Finishes P5 is a very, very respectable result. Jack MS P6, also very good in that Alpine. Then AJ P7, Veloce P8, Wilsonator P9, Cryptic P10 in the McLaren. I think driver of the day has to go to JTK in the Williams. P5. Not an easy job. He didn't have a smooth race. He had to fight his way back through. He did not undercut and get track position. He pit later than a lot of people on his strategy. Yeah, that was a fascinating race. I think that's going to see Lennon leading the championship now with 2 wins on the trot, if I'm not mistaken. A win here and a win in Japan. Obviously, he was a winner last season, picked up a win in the first round of the season in Australia, and then didn't reappear on the top step for the rest of the season. But yeah, a fascinating race. I think the power of DRS was shown in this one with those DRS trains, especially for the lead, but also shows the quality of the drivers in Tier 2 even. Consistency, and also just if everyone is like close on pace, it means they're near peak pace. But I think that will be everything. Driver of the day for me, JTK. I think a close second would be Jackames. Those 2 drivers both did a great job. I mean, obviously Lennon pole and win. I do feel like Josh's disconnect benefited him a lot. It allowed him to get back into P2. Yeah, that will be it for the stream though. So thank you for watching. I hope to catch you guys next week.